Recording in progress. And welcome to the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. Today happens to be the third day of our Founders Week celebrations. Please be upstanding as the speaker and the chair take their seats. Thank you. And as they come, please humbly put off your phones if you can. Thank you.
President of the Academy, past presidents, vice presidents, past vice presidents, fellows of the Academy, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of fellows of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, I welcome you all to day 3 of the Academy's 4-day event marking its second anniversary. Tonight also we are streaming live via Zoom, Facebook, and the Academy's YouTube page as we continue the symposium on the sub-theme, Bridging the Digital Divide. This will be addressed by 2 distinguished personalities who will be introduced shortly. One is stuck in traffic, we are told, and will be here shortly. My task here is simply to introduce to you the chairperson for tonight's function. The chairman for tonight's event is Professor Joseph Roland Achu Ayee, a fellow of the Academy and the vice president of the Arts section. Professor Ayee is a retired professor of political science. He was rector, deputy vice chancellor, dean, and head of department in 3 higher educations in Ghana and South Africa. He was the occupant of the UNESCO United Nations University Leadership Academic Chair in Leadership Studies at the University of Jordan in 2001, and the Emeka Nyaoko Visiting Chair of Commonwealth Studies at the University of London in 2013. Professor Ayee was a member of a team of experts that drafted Ghana's National Decentralization Policy Framework and Action Plan 2015 to 2019 and the National Decentralization Policy and Strategy 2020 to 2024. His journal publications and books number in excess of 200, and he continues to maintain an active research profile. His current research interests include higher education governance and management, politicians and bureaucrats relationship, political transitions, and democratic backsliding. Professor Ayee was elected Fellow of the Academy in 2005 and has served as Assistant Honorary Secretary in the Arts Section, also as Honorary Secretary, and, as I said earlier, now the Vice President of the Arts Section of the Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, your able Chairman, Professor Joseph Roland Atu Ayee.
Thank you, Acting Honorary Secretary, President of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, past presidents, Vice President, Sciences, past Vice Presidents, Fellows of the Academy, my dear students, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday we had an interesting lecture which underscored the importance of the fourth industrial revolution as far as sustainable development is concerned. And one of the key things which came up is the whole issue of precision agriculture and circular economy strategies. And if you are looking at precision agriculture, you are looking at using technology to promote or increase crop yields. If you are talking about circular economy strategies, one of the things which came up is the whole issue of waste management, that you can turn waste into productive elements which will enable you to ensure that your crop yield will increase. And the question which came up is, are the two things doable in Ghana? Of course, the argument is that yes, they are doable, but then we need more political commitment, we need funding, and we need public education. Today we'll stand on that leg and look at on the leg of sustainable development and the fourth industrial revolution, to look at bridging the digital divide. And if you are talking about the fourth industrial revolution, you also have to look at issues about digitalization. We have two speakers. One of them is on the way coming. I understand there is heavy traffic along this route. But we have one speaker who is already here, and his topic is legal framework cyber security, data protection, standards, and governance. And the speaker is a very high-profile one. He is Annan, Ankomah Esquire, the senior partner and head of the disputes department of the law firm Bentsi-Enchill, Letsa, and Ankomah. He is a member of the Ghana Bar Association and has 32 years' experience in legal practice. He has served on the International Court of Arbitration of the International Chamber of Commerce, on the panel of experts of the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, ICSID, as regional vice chair for Europe, Middle East, Africa of the Lex Mundi Managing Partners Committee, on the board of directors of Lex Mundi, and on the governing boards of the Law Reform Commission and the Parliamentary Service. Mr. Ankomah holds an LLB, University of Ghana, the qualification, certificate in law, Ghana School of Law, and an LLM in international taxation, Queen's University, Canada. Mr. Ankomah is a fellow of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. He is an acknowledged leader in civil litigation, alternative dispute resolution, and regulatory investigations, and white-collar defense, and has been involved in numerous local and international trials. He has wide experience in teaching company law, tax law, civil litigation and procedure, and legal writing and editing skills. President of the Academy, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I invite Ace Ankomah Esquire to speak on the topic legal framework, cyber security, data protection, standards, and governance.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Recording in progress.
Bridging the legal divide. Legal framework for cybersecurity, data protection, standards, and governance. A September 2022 UNESCO document titled The Right to Privacy in the Digital Age provides what I consider the most apt introduction to this subject. Thank you. I'm clearly too tall. Quote, freedom of expression and the right to privacy are among the human rights most impacted by the digital transformation. Interrelations between the rights have too been transformed. In the pre-internet age world, freedom of expression and privacy were thought to be contradictory and only interacting when journalists reported on public figures in the name of the right to know, or when the privacy of a journalist was invaded. But with the advent of the digital age, the right to privacy and freedom of expression have become interdependent, as is, for example, demonstrated by the chilling effect that privacy violations can have on media freedom, such as monitoring of online activity, data retention and big data, artificial intelligence-powered territorial surveillance, and hacking are all developments who simultaneously threaten our individual privacy and the free exercise of journalism, unquote. And I'm pretty certain you have experienced it. You're on the WhatsApp group, and suddenly one member of the WhatsApp group is advertising free loans. You know that that member's account has been hacked, you must quickly call the person and the administrator must block the person. Because once the hacker has access to the WhatsApp group, he's going to copy everybody's number and hopefully hack everyone as well. I joke that in all my years of being on WhatsApp platform, I've never seen a woman's account hacked. I'm not saying anything about the men. All I've said is that I've never seen a woman's account hacked. I haven't seen it. Maybe you have. Or you get a strange message from somebody you know asking for money. The account has been hacked. And these are some of the issues that come up in this space. In Ghana, Poaman JSC addressed this issue in Abna Pokuya Aka versus Agricultural Development Bank as follows. Quote, present concerns about protection of privacy in Ghana and globally can be attributed in part to the tremendous advancements in information and communication technology that have made it very easy to intercept, record, store, retrieve, and send information about people without them being aware. Then there's also the exponential growth and proliferation of the media, particularly social media, which have a wide reach within science. Many countries have resorted to the passage of Personal Data Protection Acts to clarify the individual's rights that the law seeks to protect under the right of privacy and to provide for conditions upon which there may be interference with the privacy in the public interest. Ghana enacted the Data Protection Act in 2012, which seeks to protect the privacy of the individual and the processing of data concerning her, unquote. So this is a critical issue. This paper will consider the relevant legal regimes on cybersecurity, electronic transactions, and data processing, and will show that Ghana is possibly up to date where the law is concerned. There are, however, gaps to be bridged, such as the usual delays in enacting the required regulations, lack of general knowledge of the laws, and some lag in enforcing them. Let's start with cybersecurity. The simplest explanation of cybersecurity refers to measures taken to protect computers or computer systems from unauthorized access or attack. Ghana's Cybersecurity Act, passed in 2020, contains a similar definition and adds that the purpose is to ensure that the computer or computer system continues to be available and operational, the integrity of the computer or computer systems is maintained, and the integrity and confidentiality of information stored in, processed by, or transmitted through the computer or computer system is maintained. This is in Ghana's law. And I say that we don't lag behind the world on law in these areas because of what the computer itself does. Now, if we need to pass a law in a certain area, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Every advanced nation's law on the subject exists on the net. So we can take it, adopt it, and adapt it to our use. So our definition of cybersecurity is current, it's up to date. The Act, and I'll call it CSA, establishes the Cybersecurity Authority to regulate cybersecurity activity in Ghana. It establishes a cybersecurity fund to provide financial resources to promote and strengthen cybersecurity, support cybersecurity research and development, and capacity building. The Act also empowers the minister to designate as critical information infrastructure, CII, a computer system or network that is considered essential for national security or the citizens' economic or social well-being. In determining this, the minister must consider factors such as national security, defense, international relations, and the need to produce, preserve, or identify confidential sources of information relating to enforcing criminal law, the provision of services related to telecommunications infrastructure, banking, public utilities, etc. A CII owner is required to report all cybersecurity incidents to an irrelevant emergency response team and prepare and submit regular audits to the authority. It is an offense to attempt to secure access to a CII without due authorization. The Act provides for setting up a national emergency response team. And I always say that when it comes to passing laws, I don't think there's any nation that beats Ghana. We can pass the laws, as we say, pa, but the enforcement is often the problem. So there should be a national emergency response team and then sectoral emergency response teams for the public sector and other sectors such as banking and finance, telecommunications, energy, military, and academia. Academia, where's your sectoral response, emergency response team? The Act authorizes the authority to establish and implement early warning system in respect of human-initiated risks that are likely to undermine cybersecurity. It provides for licensing cybersecurity service providers and makes it an offense to provide that service without the license. It also contains rules on the grant, non-transferability, duration, suspension, and revocation of licenses. The Act tasks the authority to establish systems to accredit cybersecurity professionals and practitioners, and to certify cybersecurity products and technology solutions. The authority must also develop, establish, and adopt standards for cybersecurity education and skills development, hardware and software engineering, governance and risk management, and research and development. The authority must also execute programs to promote public awareness and education on cybersecurity matters. The Act provides, and this is key, specific child protections online by creating offenses punishable by fines and jail terms, such as 1, taking or permitting an indecent image or photograph of a child. 2, producing or procuring such images. 3, publishing such images through a computer or electronic device. 4, possessing such images on a computer or electronic record storage media, which means that if you have child pornography on your phone, you are guilty of an offense. The offense is just possessing. We don't need to know why you possess it or how it came onto your phone. Once you possess it, you've committed the offense. So those of you on social media groups where people post dangerous things, you must begin to fight back. Because you probably won't even see that it is on your machine, but it is on it. And the offense is in possession. A word to the wise is enough. If you didn't know, today you know. 5, using a computer, online, internet, or local bulletin service, or any other device to seduce, solicit, lure, groom, entice a child, or attempting to do so for the purpose of facilitating, encouraging, offering, or soliciting unlawful sexual conduct of or with any child, or the visual depiction of such conduct. 6, aiding, abetting, facilitating, encouraging the online solicitation of a child, or permitting a person to use one's service for that purpose, or depicting it. So if you provide a service and you allow these to happen on your service, you are guilty of an offense. 6, cyber stalking children. That is, using a computer, online, internet, or local bulletin service, board service, or any other electronic device to compile, watch these words, compile, transmit, publish, reproduce, buy, sell, receive, exchange, or disseminate the name, telephone number, email or residential address, picture, physical description, characteristics, or any other identifying information on children to further an effort to arrange a meeting with them for the purpose of engaging in sexual intercourse, sexually explicit conduct, or unlawful sexual activity. So those of you who do what is called sexting, where you text graphic sexual descriptions, if you are not careful, and the person you send it to is a child, and a child is anybody under the age of 18. Now, don't come and tell me that the person looked 20. If the person's age is 18, it is 18. And I don't see any exceptions that the person could have deceived you with the age. Be careful. Other offenses created are sexual extortion. And something that became quite popular in Ghana, but I think has quickly died down, non-consensual sharing of intimate images. It became popular in Ghana that when a boy and a girl break off, the boy will send her intimate pictures, the boy will send it all over the place. Well, somebody went to jail for it, I think, a year ago. So we've all been warned. So sharing intimate images, threats to distribute. So you don't even have to share. If you threaten her, if you leave me, I'll send your pictures around. The offense has been committed. The room is very quiet. And or visual recordings. All of these constitute cyber offenses. The Act provides for obtaining from the High Court ex parte production orders to collect subscriber information and interception warrants to collect or record either traffic data or content data. It empowers the authority to request a service provider to install interception capacity to enforce interception warrants. The authority has the power to direct a CIA owner or a sexual computer emergency response team or a service provider to provide it with relevant information for the purpose of ensuring Ghana's cybersecurity. The authority is also authorized to obtain court orders that authorize a service provider to block, filter, take down illegal content, and phone numbers. And so when you get those phone numbers, and it's true, you just see, hi, hello dear, and it's a female's picture. It is always a female's picture. I will normally ask, who is this? And almost all the time, they'll give you a name, and the person is from the central region, Ejumako. 100% of the time, the person is from Ejumako, central region, and the Ejumako is misspelled. Then I'll say, nice to meet you. I'm not going to ask you what you want. My name is Malam so-and-so. I like harvesting the souls of young women who have nothing to do and chat with people like me. So continue the conversation as I harvest your spirit and soul. They immediately disappear. And then I save the information. But what should also happen is that then I should report these numbers to the authority for the numbers to be blocked. I somehow suspect that that is how men get hacked. Those pictures from Adwa Mansa of Ejumako. So they engage, and that's what you engage in the conversation. Sometimes they say there's something for you. Click on this link. The minute you click on it, your entire account is stolen. So the next time you get hello, just say bye-bye. Don't be tempted by the pictures. I shall exhibit some of the pictures here. And often it's not their pictures. They've taken somebody's picture off the internet. Someone I know very well wanted to sell a car. Went on a well-known site, put the details on, and got a phone call from somebody mentioning the name of a big professor in this country and a member of the academy. It was a WhatsApp call, and it had his picture. And he said he wanted to buy the car. Asked how much it was. He said he's in London right now. He's sending the money. In fact, I like the way you have dealt with me. I'm sending a little bit more for your family. And I'm sending medicine for my mother in Ghana. But ladies and gentlemen, just a little diligence. If you open the picture, you will see that there's writing across the picture, which means that it was posted on the internet. Who will post a picture of himself from the internet? But it's a WhatsApp call. It's a London number. And then within 2 hours of saying he was sending the money, the person gets another call that the bag with the money has arrived at the airport. Wait a second. From London, 2 hours, Accra. And the person continued the conversation. But it's been seized at the Kotoka airport because there's some problem. So the customs officers say, let's bring 1,000 cedis, and then they'll release the bag. So transfer 1,000 cedis, Momo it to us right now, and then we'll bring the bag. There's enough money in it for you. The person, of course, what do you think the person did? Sent the Momo. They got it and said, we just went to pay. They've asked for another 1,200. Don't worry, there's so much money in the bag. At that point, the person saw that it was a scam. And so when it was told to me, I called the prof. I said, Prof, I hear. He said, oh, yes, you don't have to go far. Do you think that I'll be walking around buying cars for my mother from strangers? By the time we could stop it, 1,000 cedis was gone. So often we ourselves have to be a tad more careful. Look at the thing very well. Check. If in doubt, Google. Okay? Okay, let's continue. I just wanted to bring that up, that we are the first line of defense. So the authority may obtain court orders to authorize a service provider to block, filter, or take down illegal content, phone numbers used for malicious purposes. The grounds include protecting national security, children, health, individual reputations and rights, public safety, and preventing or investigating disorder or crime. The authority must establish an industry forum, which is a platform that will periodically bring the industry together to discuss matters of common interest, provide for promoting security of cyberspace through international cooperation, and maintaining an electronic cyber risk register. The authority must provide guidelines and directives to service providers, and the minister is empowered to issue regulations by LI for all matters necessary to effectively implement the Act. But 4 years after the Act has been passed, there are no regulations yet. Currently, the authority issues licenses to service providers and professionals and accredits cybersecurity establishments. But it is yet to begin certifying cybersecurity products and technology solutions. The Act, however, does not provide for licensing cybersecurity establishments. And clearly, we need regulations to expressly provide for this. I'll move to electronic communications and transactions. The Electronic Transactions Act, ETA, contains other protections for persons in the electronic space. For example, it prohibits sending unsolicited electronic communications to a consumer without the consumer's consent. So all those text messages you have been receiving without your consent, advertising one thing or the other, are offenses. And if the law is being implemented, people ought to be arrested and jailed. Even if you agree to receive it, mandatorily, the message must contain the option to unsubscribe. And then, and this is Ghana law, a disclosure upon your request of the source of the personal information. So you're entitled to ask, how did you get my number? And the law says whoever sends the message must respond, else a crime has been committed. The Act extends its application to several existing offenses such as stealing, defrauding by false pretense, abetment, conspiracy, or forgery happening in the electronic space. It also creates several other offenses such as unauthorized access to protected computers, obtaining electronic payment mediums falsely, electronic trafficking, possession of electronic counterfeit making equipment, fraudulent electronic fund transfers, unauthorized access or interception, unauthorized interference. Literally, we have law that completely protects us from any kind of illegal activity in the electronic space. There's also the Electronic Communications Act, which contains the equivalent of the offense popularly called causing fear and panic. And it makes it an offense to use an electronic communication service to knowingly send communication that is false or misleading and is likely to prejudice the efficiency of life-saving service or endanger the safety of any person, ship, aircraft, vessel, or vehicle. Now let's move quickly to data protection. Ghana has passed the Data Protection Act 2012. It establishes the Data Protection Commission and regulates the processing of personal data, wholly or partly from Ghana. It provides the requirements to be met when processing personal and special data, and the need to take into account the data protection principles when processing data. The Act sets down 10 data protection principles, and I'll move through them very quickly. 1, privacy. Must protect the privacy of the subject matter. 2, there's a duty to, of course, respect the privacy, act lawfully and reasonably. 3, minimality. The purpose must be necessary, relevant, and not excessive. 4, consent, justification, and objection. It requires the prior consent of the data subject, which means that I can't just get up and give somebody's phone number to you. Are there a number of criminals in the room already? You require the consent of the subject. I have to move quickly along. 5, direct and indirect collection. Personal data must be collected directly from the data subject. There could be indirect collection where the data is in the public record, the data is the subject has deliberately made the data public, etc., etc. 6, it must be for a specific purpose. That is, specific, explicitly defined, lawful, and related to the functions or activity of the data controller. 7, awareness. A data controller who collects data must take necessary steps to ensure that the subject is aware of the purpose for the collection. 8, retention. The controller who has information can only retain it for as long as is necessary for the purpose of to achieve the purpose of the collection. And there are exceptions to this. 9, further processing. It must be compatible with the original purpose for gathering the data, taking into consideration factors such as consequences of further processing, existing contractual rights, etc. 10, quality. The data controller must ensure that the data is complete, accurate, up-to-date, and not misleading, having regard to the purpose of the collection. So these are the principles that guide processing anybody's data. The Act provides that the Minister for Communication, acting in consultation with the DPC, would issue regulations to provide, for example, conditions for giving consent. 2, further conditions to maintain the safeguards and rights and freedoms of a data subject. And 3, matters necessary to effectively implement the Act. However, as is often the case in Ghana, 12 years after the Act has been passed, no regulations have been passed. That means that several matters that could be resolved by regulation technically remain unresolved. I highlight just 6 of them. For example, registration of data processes. Is that covered? We need regulations on that. There are lack of guidelines on data transfer. We can take inspiration from the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, which states the circumstances for data transfer. Questions as to whether or not it is mandatory to appoint a data protection supervisor remain unresolved and need regulations to resolve. There are conflicting guidelines. There's conflicting guidance on when to report a data breach. Regulations are required. There's a bit of a woolly gray area on the meaning of vital interest and legitimate interest for the purposes of processing. Regulations are required. And critically, whether special personal data covers children. So on this, regulations are required as well. The DPC has indicated that it is working on regulations. We wait. Then the role of the courts, and I'll be done. The starting point in all of this is Article 18.2 of the Constitution, which provides in part as follows, quote, "No person shall be subjected to interference with the privacy of his home, property," critically, "correspondence or communication, except in accordance with law, as may be necessary in a free and democratic society for public safety or the economic well-being of the country, for the protection of health or morals, for the prevention of disorder or crime, or for the protection of the rights or freedoms of others," unquote. From cases like Republic versus Tommy Thompson, books number 2, and Ahuma Okansi versus Electoral Commission, the courts have adopted, developed, and applied what is called a permissible limitation text that considers 3 factors. 1, legality, which demands strict compliance with the law. 2, legitimacy, which is this legitimate in a democracy? And 3, proportionality. Is the purpose proportionate to the ends to be achieved? If these can be met, then the right to privacy under Article 18.2 may be limited. So it is not an absolute right, it has limitations or clawbacks, as I learned in Professor Kumado's constitutional law class years ago. In Abna Pokuya Aka again, an agricultural development bank, and Raphael Kubaji versus Michael Yabo Asare, the Supreme Court threw out secret recordings of conversations as breaching the right to privacy and not falling within the exceptions under Article 18.2. So it is wrong to secretly record another person. We see it in Ghana. People are recorded all the time, and it is played on the radio. Well, everybody is warned. In Francis Kwarteng Arthur versus Vodafone, the plaintiff sued a lot of telcos, including, and then the Attorney General. He said that the president had passed EI 63, which required operators and providers of electronic communication network services to provide user information to the authorities in the wake of COVID-19 because of the need to do contact tracing. Such a plaintiff has to be a lawyer, right? Yes. And he asserted that that executive instrument the president had issued violated his right to privacy, his right to administrative justice, and the right to equality and non-discrimination. The High Court found that although the entire EI did not constitute a violation, certain details demanded and provided breached the right to privacy, such as, unbeknownst to us, they were requiring details of mobile money transactions. And the court asked, what does this have to do with COVID? You see, that is what we found. This is political creep. The court asked, what does it have to do with COVID? To ask for people's mobile money transactions. Not just that. Merchant codes, details of the mobile money operators people use, and then call numbers and details relating to outbound roaming data, which means that even if you leave Ghana and you do roaming, the government could ask for it. The High Court said, no, we can understand you asking for that data when it concerns Ghana. But if the person is outside Ghana, what does it have to do with us? And the judge said, and I agreed with her, that, look, when you get to the airport, you fill in all the forms, you do the COVID test, we know where you have been. Why do we need to know who you spoke with, where you went, just because of COVID? So the court ruled that these were illegal, awarded damages to the applicants, and interestingly, asked that every detail submitted to be expunged, and interestingly instructed the president to amend those portions of the EI within 12 months. On appeal, the Court of Appeal upheld all the orders except the one that instructed the president to amend the EI, and said that the court's power to declare a statute unconstitutional or unlawful did not include the power to compel the amendment or set timelines to it. Mr. Arthur went to court again, this time against the NIA, and he said he wanted to register for his Ghana card, and they were asking him to provide his digital address code, and that he believed that that was a violation of his rights. This time the court disagreed with him. The Court of Appeal said that the digital address code operates via the global positioning system in the same way as the mobile cell phone system works. It is also part of the digital network system, which is being adopted by the government to accelerate rapid socio-economic development, and an integral part of the security system of the country. The code is now demanded by many state institutions, including under the New Companies Act, where all directors of companies, among others, are now bound to disclose their digital address code together with other personal biological data. Indeed, the code is part of the digitization policy of the central government. With the recently passed Cybersecurity Act, it was part of government's policy to bring on board all the security apparatus, including the code, as a critical cog in its regime. We do not think that anybody is forcing the applicant to get the national identity card. But if he wants to get same, then he should subject himself to the provisions of the law of the land. He can, with all due deference, also choose to be left behind the rapidly changing information and technological advancement, unquote. So he won one, they protected his right, and the other one, they thought that he was stretching his rights too far. But that is what shows that the country is taking steps forward, that we are prepared to challenge the law. We may win or lose, but at the end of the day, we can never discuss this area without mentioning this gentleman's name, that he went to court and won a major victory against the government. He lost one, but the principles have been established. Conclusion. The legal framework, which is a structured set of laws to govern and regulate the acts and responsibilities of the actors in this space, exists. The courts have also shown a clear understanding of the issues arising, holding the balance between free speech and privacy arising in the context of cyberspace and data protection. The divide or the gaps that require to be bridged are the absence of regulations and guidelines that would provide further clarity and more public education on these matters. Because, ladies and gentlemen, ignorance might be bliss, but ignorance of the law is no excuse. You will not escape liability for violating a law simply because you were not aware of either its existence or its content. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time and attention.
Thank you, Ankomah Square, for being on time. I thought that you had a big brief, but it looks like it's a small brief, so thanks a lot. Okay, our second speaker is in, and she is going to speak on preparing the workforce for the future, digital. Focusing on negotiations, investor relations, market entry strategies, multicultural relations, brand sustainability protocol, and public diplomacy across Ghana, Nigeria, and the Netherlands. Kobi's educational background includes a master's degree in public relations from the Ghana Institute of Journalism, a certificate in digital marketing strategy from the University of Arts, London, and an MBA in corporate strategy and economic policy from Maastricht School of Management, the Netherlands. She also holds a Bachelor of Science in Accounting and Information Systems from Regent University College of Science and Technology, and a Certificate A from St. Louis College of Education, Kumasi. Since 2007, Kobi Hemaa has hosted and produced several influential TV shows in Ghana and mentored many young talents in the media industry. In 2016, she was recognized as one of Ghana's top 5 female television morning show hosts. She transitioned to the corporate world in 2018, becoming the head of corporate communications at Ghana Post, Ghana's designated postal service operator. She believes that the climate crisis is also a leadership and communication one. Therefore, as the Senior Vice President of External Relations and Corporate Strategy for Sustainable Climate Change for All, SUCCA Africa, she feels the communication void in the fight against climate change. As the Director of Corporate Affairs for ICT Capacity Building Agency of the Government of Ghana, Kobi Hemaa is deeply committed to promoting digital literacy. In this role, she spearheads initiatives to bridge the digital divide, ensuring that individuals and communities across Ghana gain access to essential digital skills and technologies. Her efforts focus on creating inclusive digital education programs, fostering technological innovation, and empowering the workforce to thrive in the digital economy. Kobi Hemaa's exemplary leadership and dedication have earned her numerous accolades. In December 2019, she was awarded the TV Personality of the Year at the Ghana Leadership Awards. In 2022, she was named one of the 22 female achievers in Africa by the U.S. Consulate, Lagos, Nigeria, and African Entrepreneurship Support and Mentorship Program. Additionally, she received the Outstanding Woman in Communication Leadership Award at the 2022 National Communications Award, Ghana, and the Public Sector Communications Personality of the Year in 2024. Kobi Hemaa is currently the Director of Corporate Affairs and Media Relations at the Ghana-India Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our second speaker, Mrs. Kobi Hemaa Osisiadan-Bekoe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Permit me to stand on existing protocol. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yes, I see the vibrant females and males in the room, and that makes me so happy. I'm delighted to be here to talk to you about how we can prepare the workforce. Preparing the workforce for the future, digital technologies, literacy programs, and sustainable collaborative initiative. We all understand and feel it around us anytime that someone changed the way he or she does the usual things and seek the assistance of technology. For us in the world and for where I sit, I feel and see the impacts of technology. Therefore, I'm happy anytime there is an opportunity for us to discuss how best majority of us can use technology. Let me pick some few quotations from some renowned tech giants in the world. I'll start from the founder of Girls Who Code. She made this quote. She says, we need to teach girls to be brave, not perfect. We need to encourage them to take risks, learn technology, and build the future of the digital world. The digital divide is not just about access. It's about empowering the next generation to be creators, not just consumers. So for us here that we are listening to the lecture, we read online, to enjoy technology, we have to be groomed not to be creators, but not just consumers. I know for us sitting in the room, if you are not using a MacBook at the office, you have an iPhone, or you love using things made from Apple. The co-founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, has this to say: innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. The digital revolution is no longer a future trend. It is a reality, and it shapes how we live and how we work. When it comes to digitalization in Ghana, the ministry, head by a female, Honorable Aslausu Ekufo, and she has this to say: the future of Ghana's growth lies in the embrace of digital technologies. We must ensure that every Ghanaian, regardless of location or background, has access to the opportunity that technology brings. This makes it so perfect for us to take our time to delve into digital technologies, a lot of literacy programs that is going on in the country, sustainable collaborative initiative that we can together assess to enhance our knowledge. Talking about digital divide, we are looking at disparities in access to digital technologies. I have the opportunity to use variety of technologies and you don't have. Why? When we look at education, you remember when COVID came, then schools compulsory have to close. When schools closed, something happened. Lectures said it needs to continue because we cannot stay home. And at a point in time, we didn't know when COVID was going to end. We had to start using Zoom to have our studies, which was very positive. But you know what? When you go to the hinterland, the villages, for us in Accra, for the people in Kumasi, majority of the regional capitals, studies was normal. Zoom was functioning. People were happy. Parents can see that children are still being educated. But when you go to the people in the various rural areas, they connect and it drops. They connect and it drops. And you know what? When the previous years, when you want to study and your lecturer tells you you have to make a research, all you do is that he mentions the name of the book and you go to the library. But now what happens? You have the opportunity to search online and get it. I remember an incident where one of my father's friends was telling us that when he was a student, there was this good student in the class, but nobody likes him. The reason being that anytime the lecturer or the teacher says that when you go to the library, read this book, page 45, he will speedily leave for the library. When he goes to the library, you know what he does? He just tears off that book, puts inside the pocket, and he's off. So you will come looking forward to read the book. And as soon as he have already torn the book and he has left. Imagine that there are 50 people in the classroom. And many a times the book, they don't have enough. So you have 10. This was the situation years back. And now you can just Google and get it. But imagine that where you are, access to internet is difficult. And you don't have very good road for people to often come in. You know, when people talk about interventions, always when they are choosing locations, many people prefer choosing the regional capitals. So for those in the educational sector, although education is good and technology is supporting education, the digital divide is not supporting some of our people to take part. The economy. Now you stay online and you buy everything. There is nothing in this world that you cannot get online. Please name it, and I will show you where to get it. But you know what? What about Auntie Yamansa at Bungugu Yoyo? Can she quickly get her items online and connect you to it? Lack of digital access restricts small businesses from leveraging e-commerce and digital tools. And it also limits job opportunity as industries demand digital skills. because some of our people from the rural areas cannot get the regular information on digital development, many people lag behind. Social equity. The digital divide exacerbates inequalities, particularly for women, rural populations, and people with disabilities, limiting their access to education, healthcare, and civic participation. We are saying we are going digital, but the unfortunate thing is that there will be a digital innovation, and you ask them, can we play the innovation for someone who cannot see to be able to access the innovation? And many a times the answer is no. So your sister, your friend, your father need to listen, go through the innovation, and will have to transfer the knowledge to you. Preparing our workforce for digital transformation. For us today, in this room, we are taking advantage of getting an opportunity to know that the new workforce are a group of individuals where wherever they go, they need to carry digital innovations along. Either you are consuming it or you are providing it. It has come to stay. I remember my dad used to have a secretary. I like sitting at her office, only for one reason, the sound of the typewriter. But I can boldly say, I have some of my brothers and sisters in this room who have not seen a typewriter before, so by hand. Because of computers. Oh, of course, yes, feel free. Because technology has evolved, and we are using it to work. So when typewriter was available, and people thought that was the end, computer came, and we are using computer. But computer technology now goes beyond typing. AI and Internet of Things are changing everything. Everything is being changed. For now, yes, there has been a trend where when it's someone's birthday, you see them doing a lot of photo shoots. And then they'll wait for the photographer to edit, which is perfect. But what about if you have a presentation? Can you use the photo shoots? No matter how beautiful you are, you can't use your pictures for the presentation. You have to look for appropriate images. And you know what? When you go online, Getty Images, you know, the photographer, Getty Images, they have a lot of images online, but they are not charitable with it. And that explains why they have it always in watermark. But technology has made it possible for us here to be able to generate images for free, nice, to your perfection. Sometimes you are looking for an African woman with a bag behind, and you just Google, and the African woman will come, but the bag, she is holding it. How to customize it becomes a problem. But as the new workforce, we have opportunity to variety of tools. One becomes our favorite and has been the favorite of many and the common to many, but there are a lot. We have a lot of AI tools that you can use for research. The favorite of many has been ChatGPT. Beyond ChatGPT, there is Copilot. Beyond Copilot, there is Pro AI. There is Claude AI that you can use to do research. We should not shy away from the fact that AI has come to stay and is going to enable us to work fast. When you need a writing assistant, You know, sometimes you write the English and you take it to your supervisor, your friend, your teacher, and they inform you, oh, this one, then they use red pen. They cancel a lot of it. Grammarly can help you, Quillbot can help you to check your English before you take it to your teacher, to your lecturer, to that meeting or to the boss. Image generation. Many people will say that I do not like social media. Yes, of course. So you may not be on Facebook. But if you are not on Facebook, you may be on Instagram. If you are not on Instagram, Meta is making it available straight from your phone. WhatsApp. The WhatsApp that we use. If you have a WhatsApp right now, we can do a small exercise where we can ask Meta AI to give us any image that we want. So there is no need for you to go online to keep searching. You know, when you have your WhatsApp and you just open the interface, like you want to look for, you now want to look for somebody to talk to or somebody to chat with. There is a top there that they say, ask Meta AI or search. And when it asks you to ask Meta AI or to search, you can just type an African woman with a yellow bag. Generate an image of an African woman with a yellow bag. And it will give it to you. I'm proud to say that all the images in my presentation tonight is from Meta AI. But it's not only from Meta AI, you can use Imagine Acts. So for us coming to look for jobs, thinking about getting the opportunity to work for ourselves or for another person, we need to learn how we can get the prompts. We have slides, enablers that can help you to generate your slides. When you go for meetings, many a times somebody will be sitting down to be writing the meeting notes, which is very nice. But with the new workforce, we need to subscribe to some of these AI tools to help us to be able to use it efficiently. The scripts, Otter AI are all there to support us. But, just as I was saying, all these technologies, if you are not aware, how do you use it? To be able to use it efficiently and effectively, you should have knowledge of it. That makes it so essential for us to find out how partners or how government agencies or the private sector can support us. International Telecommunication Union indicates that 90% of jobs now require some level of digital skills. That is why now our sisters who are hairdressers, our friends who are even sewing, they are always online, learning something new. If your dad has a car, if yourself you are driving, previously when you get any challenge with your car, what do we often do? We drive to Baba Musa and say that, Baba Musa, GS no etwitwinimu. And you just say, let me sit in the car, go straight to the junction and come, and I'll know what is wrong with the car. Then the mechanic will drive the car, go to the junction or the runabout, and come back and tell you, brake fluid do not work from, and say a top brake pad be the same. But you know what? Nowadays when you go, they just bring a diagnostic machine. No long things. So ITU is no way far from the truth that the future is today, that 90% of the workforce, we need to train ourselves because the job markets, we need 90% of us with the knowledge in technology. There are so many programs that are in play. Currently, Girls in ICT is ongoing in the Ashanti region, where it supports people to upskill their knowledge, to know more about technology. I was glad when the lawyer was talking about digital cybersecurity in the digital space. There is an old adage which says, "Nyankopɔn bo nipa de na mmra no so." Kitwe mondo na mondo so asase so. And then in the middle of the garden there is a tree. Don't touch it. Just simple too. But when human beings we became more, there are a lot of laws and even bylaws. So in the cyberspace, previously, we wouldn't have spent time to be listening to cybersecurity issues because we were not going there. We were here doing our things without going to the digital space. But now it's very, very essential. So whilst we are pushing forward to use technology to enhance our job, whilst we are seeking knowledge in the field of technology, ladies and gentlemen, we should not downplay the essence of cybersecurity. An ICU Global Cybersecurity Index report indicates that there is a significant gap in Ghana. Engineer Kwame Bentsi-Enchill also says that employers in Ghana's safety and digital content creation is as critical as digital competencies, making it essential that whilst you are studying to get knowledge, whether formally or informally, to use digital technology, just ensure that you enhance your knowledge in the cybersecurity field. How can we get the knowledge of digital literacy? There are so many things happening around us that when we participate, it will give us opportunity to know more. There is Girls in ICT, as I mentioned, is an initiative by the Ministry of Communications to ensure that young women, ladies in the rural areas, get knowledge in ICT. Currently, this year's edition is taking place in the Ashanti region of Ghana, and we take girls through cybersecurity, developing Scratch, websites, and it's always interesting because within that 10-day period, a lot of these young girls decide to take digital careers because before the training, many of them feel like when it comes to technology, it's something that is far because majority of the technology we use is not developed by a Ghanaian. But when we go down to them, we teach them, then they know that the next tech giant can be them. And I know for you students listening to me today, you can start taking advantage of some of these initiatives and you can be the next tech giants. E-Transform project is a project designed to improve access to digital services in Ghana. Supported many agencies, and through that, Ghana Post Judiciary have changed. Lawyer is here. It is highly possible that previously when they go to courts, to get some old proceedings, you need to go get it manually. But now the e-justice has made it possible to retrieve information in the judiciary. The Ghana Tech Lab is a community space providing a training and support for tech startups and entrepreneurs. E-Skills for Job is an initiative under the Ghana Digital Acceleration Program and is addressing the digital skills gap among marginalized groups. These are the initiatives. How do you benefit? To benefit from this initiative, you need to do a little bit of job. Just a little. You don't have to do plenty. You know what you need to do? Search. Search online. When you get the opportunity to have a mobile phone, a laptop, a desktop, don't do sex testing as lawyer just mentioned. But use it to do search, that can be of benefit to you now and forever. So you can just go online, free digital skills training in Ghana, and it will come. ICT institutions like the Ghana India Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT, where I'm coming from, intermittently we offer free training. We have paid training, but there's always an opportunity that within a year we run about 2 or 3 free trainings. If you don't search, it will be impossible for you to partake. So to take part in a lot of these literacy programs, all you need is to do a little bit of job to search. There are a lot of collaborative initiatives also happening. There is Sonko Academy. Sonko Academy and her team, they do a lot in the digital space. They collaborate with government sector, private sector. Every now and then, like every quarter, there is an initiative by Sonko Academy. I will encourage my brothers and sisters here to consistently watch out and look for new things that the Ghana India Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT is doing, Ghana Tech Lab is doing, Sonko Academy is doing, so that you can benefit from some of these free trainings. With all the good things I talk about, I still have some few recommendations. Policy recommendations and community engagement. You know, with the policies, now when you go online or anywhere we go, there are a lot of policies, but how to enforce them? At least this evening we know that the cybersecurity, there are a lot of laws or there are a lot of things that we have proposed, but it's still same. When you say it's now that ICT should be part of the curriculum, majority of educators will tell you it's already part of the curriculum. But the emphasis here is the resources. You go to certain communities and the people at age 11, he or she has never held a laptop before. So ICT is part of the curriculum, yes. But what happens? They're teaching abstract. So it's not just about we making provisions for the law, but we making sure that we enforce and add resources to the benefit of every Ghanaian. Subsidies for low-income families. If there is a policy that we look at your income, and for us, we have categorized you as a low-income family, and therefore, when you buy data, instead of buying 5 megabytes for 50 Ghana cedis, your 5 megabytes is 2 Ghana cedis. What will happen is that for the people that we keep saying they are in the rural communities, and therefore they are not getting the opportunity to explore digital initiative, they will surely get the opportunity to enjoy these initiatives as much as we are doing. And for us as policymakers, for any individual, you get the opportunity to implement a digital training, we have to make sure we engage the communities. There is every community and what fits. Just like every student and what your interest is in. If you get the opportunity to do digital training and you do not do what the people want, what happens is that you get the opportunity, you talk to them, you train them and they leave. But it's not what they need. In my conclusion, I'll say that the time is now, and we need to prepare our workforce. And it is something essential for national development. No two ways about that. Because now in the health system, I'll not go to see the medical doctor and still walk to the nurse and say that nurse, doctor, trade drama me. You know that thing has stopped. You go there, and what happens is that before you leave the doctor's place to the nurse's station or to the pharmacy at the hospital, they already have your prescription. And that implies that if you are here and you don't want to be an engineer, you don't want to be a software developer, and you want to be a consumer, whatever field you are looking forward to be, either in the medical field, either in the trade and industry, you need a level of ICT. And that is why everywhere we hear of digital training, both online and in person, we have to partake. There is GhanaDigital.skills.gov. That gives you the opportunity, like Coursera, Udemy, that we can enhance our knowledge as individuals or institutions with paying something little or paying nothing. I do believe that we will do more to ensure that we build a digitally inclusive society where everyone has access to opportunity that technology affords. Because as we started with, technology is not for a person, it's for us, and it's something very essential for national development. For us in the space, we have no excuse because we have the digital platforms ourselves to search for digital knowledge. And that is what the new workforce, our employers, demand from us. And to support the initiative to ensure that we bring down the digital divide, we have to play our part to take advantage for majority of these initiatives moving around us. Thank you so much.
Okay, please let's clap for the two speakers again. Okay, so we go straight to the interactive section where questions, comments. We'll take 5, and then, of course, if there are more, we can take. So 5 questions. So, Prof, Reverend Prof. You have the floor. Please, do you have a microphone?
The question goes to Ankomah. I've been involved in, the drafting of acts. As you said, we are very good at, drafting acts. But when it comes to the LI to implement, it's now becoming chronic. From what you were saying, the act will be there, and you cannot, use it because there's no LI to enable you to. And I'm saying that, why is that a problem? Because, as I said, I've been involved in about 5, and all of them, it will take about maybe 5 years, 10 years before the LI is promulgated. Why is this country is becoming chronic to all? So can you please share your experience with us?
Yeah, yes.
Actually, I was going to ask the same question. So this is for emphasis. The question is, why can't the lawyers do the 2 things at the same time? They prepare the act and then the LI, or one group is not allowed to do this too? Thank you.
Please. That's a question from us. Yes.
My name is Lawrence Mante, and my question goes to Mr. Ace Ankomah. Please, you know that as we are coming here, you are required to register before you enter. So in the course of the registration, maybe as you are filling the registration form, can you resist any attempt to put in your information? And if it happens that because of not providing those information, you are denying access to the program, is it a violation of any privacy right here? So I want your opinion on that. Thank you.
All right. Any others?
Good evening. My question is that...
Can you know your name, please?
My name is Papa Kwame Ayee. My question is that people that are over the age of 18, do their parents still have a right to monitor their internet activities? And if they do so, is it a breach of their digital privacy?
Okay.
Hello. Hello, thank you. My name is Derek Tete from Writers Project, and my question goes to lawyer Ayee Ankomah. I want to ask you, every individual using a mobile phone, sometimes if you have a breach of the network, there's a helpline that you can call to help you with any issue. And so my question is, can the authority, you mentioned the authority in charge of civil cybersecurity, if they can develop a line or maybe a booth per constituency where you can report such if there's a breach of data, you can maybe send that information, that link to that number, and then that number, or if even the authority can create a portal that an individual can use as an alternative to the number that they can call, that will speed up controlling the breach of data across networks. I believe that will help. So is there any initiative of the authority intervening in such
One more, and then we'll break. Okay.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you so very much. My name is Collins. Thank you so very much for the nice lecture. My question is, nowadays it takes a lot of skill to use most of the AI. I mean, it goes to Our Lady. It takes a lot of skills for us to use most of the AI tools, Gemini, Apple Intelligence, ChatGPT. For you to give in the right prompt, you need to know a lot about prompt engineering and stuff like that. So, and the rate at which the AI world is changing, you know, the changes in there. So I'm just wondering, for our, students and their teachers, learning is really difficult. A lot of the teachers might find it very difficult to catch up with the changes, but then the students will enjoy it. So, and I've been hearing in the news, a lot of teachers are against students using ChatGPT or the AI tools to, let's say, do their homework and stuff like that, which for me, I think is a progressive way of learning. Because for you to use ChatGPT, you need to understand the system itself before you can do that. Instead of teachers appreciating this effort, a lot of them are against students using such things. What's your view on this? Thank you very much.
Okay. You can attend to this and then. Oh.
Okay, thank you. For me, my view is that we should give the students the opportunity to explore. Let me give you an example. When I got to know of ChatGPT, I said, hey, I will never teach my children. I will never teach them. So I was there and they were working on their assignments. And when they were done, they told me, I realized they spent a longer time than previous. So I asked them why. And she said, I'm doing my PowerPoint presentation. Trust me, I'm talking about a 10-year-old girl. They said, but you said you are doing your homework. I said, oh, Mom, the issue is that our teachers allow us to use ChatGPT to do our answers. But if you use ChatGPT, you are supposed to come and explain it. You do not present the work, but you will explain. I stay in the house with my elder son, who also sometimes uses ChatGPT to do his work. But he does it, and when he brings it to me, I say, I dare way I watch out to your boss, it's not right. I said, oh, but ma, ChatGPT assisted me. I said, it's garbage in, garbage out. It's there to assist us, but entering the right prompts is what makes it something unique. So when we start learning the prompts that we need, the prompts that are essential, and if we do not start practicing, how do we get it? So you need to start practicing. But of course, it shouldn't be a lazy venture for our dear students, where everything, we have some things that you can set. Like my daughter, I think, is their geography teacher who allows them to use ChatGPT to do the assignment. But once you use ChatGPT, you need to do a PowerPoint to come and explain your findings and go extra beyond. Now, because of AI, you can solve your mathematical questions with ease without you or your mother assisting you with an extra classes teacher. Or after the teacher has left, you can do yourself a favor to go online and get it done. For me, AI is positive, but how we regulate it, how we use it. If we wait last minute and you make it like any assignment ChatGPT can do, then you just wait, you have 2 hours to submit, and you just go and type. That individual behavior we are trying to build is what is bad. But the entire system that is there for us to be able to use AI, imagine you go for a meeting, the secretary have to keep writing everything. And after that, she'll come and type. And some of the times, they can forget some of the things you said, especially when it's a conversation where this one speaks, and there's like a banter. They forget some of these things. But if the secretary is there at the meeting and still using an AI to record and transcribe, it makes it exact. So AI is not coming to also take our job. We as individuals, we need to give a prompt to help AI to help us. So my view is that as for AI, we should continuously explore, but we have to make sure we do it ethically. Thank you.
Thanks. I'll say a bit about that. There are 3 other younger lawyers in my house. And in a conversation with one of them, I said, look, she was going to travel from one place to the other during spring break. And exams were going to start immediately afterwards. So I'm like, no, baby, look, how can you go out of school? He said, I need to go and spend time. Okay, that's fine. I asked, are you taking your textbooks with you so you can study while away? And this is a final year, I believe, law student, and she asked me, Daddy, what are textbooks? Now, I immediately got very worried. I said, the books with the material, I think this was second year, with the material and everything. She said, what are you talking about? And so I said, so when you go for class, he said, oh, you mean the cloud? Well, I can send you my password where you will see all the course material. And I saw the course material, and I was embarrassed. Because in my time, I would have read the 30-page in Cheshire and Firefoot on consideration. Now the lecturer is required to pick up summaries of the relevant books and store them on the cloud. So I said, no, wait, okay, so you have access to that. But what if, are you taking your lecture notes? What's that? I said, well, the notes you make in class. Oh, yes, oh, that. Well, we have all the lectures recorded on video, and I can watch the lectures over and over again. And if I have a question, I can send an email to the lecturer, required answers within 48 hours. I'm old. There's nothing wrong with using the new tools, but it is not a substitute for knowledge. It is not a substitute for learning. What it does is to expand your knowledge base. It gives you other alternatives. And critically, it shows you when ChatGPT is wrong. Lawyers outside this country have been known to ask the question, print ChatGPT answers, send it to court, and ChatGPT was happily citing cases that didn't exist. At the University of Ghana, a master's student, and I know this because the professor is my classmate, and a master's student used ChatGPT or whatever help to write an assignment. And Prof, the assignment was referring to the Accra Law Journal. There's nothing like that. And so he asked the student, can you produce Accra Law Journal? The student then wrote, I should have the student thing on my phone. This is like unauthorized personal data sharing. But says that, oh, I'm sorry, I used ChatGPT. So you as students, yes, explore. But if you don't, you will provide garbage and you will not pass the exam. And you know that there will be a final exam and there will be no ChatGPT writing the exam for you, right? So ChatGPT as an alternative to, you know, the ones we say, the Google and the unofficial Wikipedias, that's fine, but only as a guide. But if you make that your thing, you'll be found out. So just be careful about that. Yes, it helps your research, but I can tell when an associate in my firm has used ChatGPT to write. The writing is very insipid. I can tell. There's no warmth to it. And I'm going to convince a judge. And I need to put the language in a certain way to appeal to the judge. And you brought me some bland, insipid, tasteless sentences. I'll say, you know what, go and disable this and bring something more human. So let's move to the first question. Implementing regulations. This is the difference. Parliament passes the acts. Then the Constitution realizes that our parliamentarians may not fully understand the nuances of the acts that they pass. So in a very interesting separation of powers provision, it authorizes the ministers and the experts, maybe the boards and the commissions, to then make the regulations which actually give flesh to the bones of the statute. So Parliament itself might not have the expertise at the same time to pass the two. In fact, sometimes the law must be passed for the experts now to sit down and flesh out the regulations. So there's a need for some even reading and understanding of it so that the regulations come out. And our Constitution then says that when those regulations are laid before Parliament, Parliament can't even amend them. Article 11. They can only vote to revoke them by a 2/3 majority. So once the LI goes to Parliament, Parliament can only, and they don't actually vote to pass it. It lies there for the 21-day gestation period and it becomes the legislative instrument. So we then need to start asking our experts, the commissions, the authorities, the ministers, why it takes so long to pass it. But I can imagine that once the substantive act is passed, everybody's like, uhuru, we are done, let's go home. And then we forget about the regulations. Or maybe we don't really like the regulations. We want to exercise a lot of discretion. So that in the absence of the regulation, the commission or the authority can do as it pleases. Okay? So it's a combination of factors. And I think that this is one thing that our governance structure ought to think about. And to say, look, we passed the law within a certain period, all the regulations must be made and submitted to Parliament and to become regulations. So I identify with the problem. 12 years, no regulations. But in the interim, they are regulating. And then if a challenge comes, then there's a problem. These are bottlenecks that we are all identifying, and maybe that's something we need to push. So about passing them at the same time, I think I've tried to answer that. Now, about resisting the attempt to provide your details. Yes, you could have said, I will not provide my details. If they say at the gate that, then sorry. We also want to track people who came here. And so if you do not give us your details, you will not be allowed in. Then you make a choice. In the midst of the COVID, there are certain, once in a while I like to eat breakfast some other place. And some places would not allow you in until you've given them your name and your phone number. And of course, I'm quite anti-establishment. My first thing was to resist it. And the manager then explained to me, so I asked to see the manager, and explained to me, it's COVID time. We want to have your details and see where you are sitting. If someone sitting close to you reports an infection, we want to be able to reach you to say, can you please test? Because you were seated at this place within 3 meters of such and such a person, and so I started providing it. But you are not bound by it. But what should not happen is that when you have provided the data, the academy is not allowed to sell the data. The academy is not allowed to process that data in a way that you haven't consented. Okay? And that is why when I gave the presentation, it is said that if you get an unsolicited, and it's usually a text message, you can unsubscribe or demand from the person who sent it, where did you get my details? And if the regulations were in place and we're enforcing the laws well, you will make a report to the cybersecurity authority, and they can easily trace it because they can go into the telco, found who sent those messages, and prosecute them. I keep saying that the laws exist. It's always the implementation. The third one is whether parents are allowed to monitor your internet activity. Well, you must look at our Children's Act. And parents still retain control over you till you are 18. For example, if you are a child, you actually can't enter into a contract, except a contract for what is called necessaries. And the issue is whether internet access is a necessary. And a lot of you know, for example, that you can't get on WhatsApp till you're 18. You can't get on Facebook till you're 18. Of course, nobody checks your age. A lot of you here who are not 18, you're already there. We know, but technically you should not be able to do it. So there's a certain level of parental control that only comes to an end at 18. I always tell the joke in my house that people say, allow the children to dream. And I like to say, oh yeah, they're allowed to dream. Why not? Please dream. But as long as you live in my house, you eat my food, you drink my water, you sleep in my house, you drive my car, sometimes I still buy clothes for you. And the most important thing about living in my house, you are breathing my oxygen. Because it's my house. I can ask you to stop breathing or go and stand outside and breathe. You are still allowed to dream, but I will appear in the dream with you. We will dream together. But when you are 18, it was, my mentor coach used to say, if you get the child to 18 without a major incident, you thank God and praise yourself. Okay? There's still a lot of parental guidance that is required. At my age, I remember the areas in which I rebelled against my parents. And I tell myself, what an idiot I was. Because now they are also trying to rebel against me in the same area. And I have become my parents. Be careful. You will become your parents one day. And you will regret trying to stop them from controlling you and your access when you're 18. There's a lot of dangerous information out there. Children are being lured into dangerous relationships. Grown men are sitting down, baiting preteen girls to meet them. And all these things are illegal. And I start to think that any young person says, I don't want my parents' involvement in this. It's a balance. Every parent must have the balance. I don't believe in being overly oppressive, but I believe that a parent must have access to these things. Don't worry, when you're 18, you can blow your brains out. Till then, let's observe. But this is a personal view. The legal view is that, yes, there's some parental control required before you're 18. So it's not a breach of your rights. Now, the issue about reporting data breaches. Yeah, in fact, that is why when I presented, it said that the authority should even establish emergency action teams, emergency report teams, etc., etc. The law provides for all of this. And maybe the academy can make a representation to the authority that could you provide this? And it doesn't even have to be in every place. Now with technology, they can provide one number. And the one number can have 100 links. 100 people can call that number at the same time, and it will come up. But the thing about all of this, sir, is that it comes with a lot of money. It comes with a lot of money. And as I've grown, I think I've become quieter and calmer with age, because I realize that the money issue is a big thing. And the budget to do all of this will have to come from our taxes. And so, but it's a good suggestion that they should have one number that we can all forward these harassing emails, harassing text messages, and all these unsolicited messages to, so that the Cybersecurity Authority takes advantage of it. And I think that we put all of these together in the final paper that we prepare on this event and send those suggestions to the authorities. I think I've answered all of that. Thank you very much.
I understand those of you who are online, you can still ask questions. They type them in the chat box, and then send them. It will be projected, and then the panelists will attend to them. Yes, we'll take 5 more. Yes, at the back there. Most of the questions came from the left side. Let's see the right side. Yes. You have a... Please, send the... Please, I haven't called you. Sorry, I'll call you, but I'll call somebody first. I'll call you.
Thank you. Chumberema Boatin. My first question is, in an AI-generated world where you can take my image, pick my voice, take my image, pick my voice, and then generate an image where maybe I'm sitting by a poolside, I'm sitting by maybe a place where it's unauthorized, or pick my voice and then mimic me saying things I've not even said. That can lead to issues. By law, how safe can we protect ourselves from such things? We hear a lot of image cases where people said, oh, I didn't say this. It's a leak tape. No, I didn't say that. Meanwhile, some of these things are image generated or voice generated. My other question is, how can we protect ourselves? Or is there any legal framework that protects individuals from AI-generated information about personal data? Thank you very much.
Yes, the lady.
Thank you. My name is Hedeji Yunus, and I wanted to ask the lawyer, during his lecture, he did mention that it's illegal for you to make a recording of someone without them knowing that you are doing that. But then I want to ask, what if you are in a situation where you need evidence, and that is the only possible means you can think of, and you go ahead to do that? Will the evidence be accepted, or because it's illegal, they will just brush it off and maybe put the case somewhere? Thank you.
Good question. Any other? We'll take 3 more. Yes, please.
Yeah, hello. My name is Maoli. This is a follow-up question to data privacy. We normally get text messages from political parties, especially the presidential aspirants, asking us to vote for them. Is that not a breach of privacy from the telcos? Because I don't know where they get my number from, and I'm getting text messages from them. Thank you.
Very little question from this side. Yes, can we have a question? How about here? Yes, Prof.
My question goes to Mrs. Kobi, Hemaa, Osisiadan-Bekoe. I mentioned your name before because the chairman was trying to crucify your name. So the the Industrial Revolution.
Prof, we'll ask you to mention your name. There are some young people here who may not know you.
Oh, my name is Kobi from Pomboatin.
Okay.
You know, looking at some of our people in Ghana in agriculture, we are using tools and technologies that predate the first industrial revolution. In other words, we are not partakers of the first industrial revolution. The same thing happened to us with the second. The third two passes by. Now we are in the fourth industrial revolution. In fact, the fifth is knocking at the door, where human beings will be working alongside AI-powered humanoid or non-humanoid robots. Don't you think that the fourth industrial revolution is also passing by? And what percentage, you were trying to mention what percentage of the population will be part of this fourth industrial revolution. I'm afraid it's also passing us by. Thank you.
How about this side? Yes, please.
Please, good evening, and I'm Nelson Brittany, a student of Accra Girls Senior High School. Please, I wanted to ask that, please, this question goes to Madam Hemaa. Please, you said if you want to learn ICT, we should come to your school. Please, is it only for graduated students or SHS and JHS students can also come? Thank you.
Any more? Those of you online, if you have any questions, please let us have them. Any? I don't see any hand. Okay, here. Thank you.
Hi, please, my name is Ciara. And then my question is, since AI is going to take over everything, basically like the internet, what's going to happen to those who were doing the jobs of the AI? Are they still going to have jobs or they'll be unemployed in the country? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. IT expert, do we have any from online? No question from online. Okay, all right. Ladies first, then.
I will partially take the question from, the gentleman there asked a question about AI taking videos or altering your sound or doing something to what you have not done to be there. I'll leave the law aspect to lawyer to take it, but I'll handle The same way that we have AI that can generate or replicate your voice, we have AI that can also detect fake news. And some of these ones that have not happened, but AI creates them for them to be in existence, is what we also call fake. It has never happened. You never said it. You were not there. But we've combined videos or sound to make it sound like you. Because now, with AI tools like Pictory, I don't need to go to the studio to do a voiceover. I'll just have to type in what I want, and then I'll just ask the app to give me the voice over. And I can choose from voices. And you can use my voice, I can use my own voice and say, replicate this voice. So, of course. But there are AI tools that will take advantage and also let us identify that this is fake news. But the question comes, how many people will go and use that tool to also identify? Especially where we have less than 1 month to election, and their voice comes and is a favorite politician or a very popular politician's voice. We will jump to conclusion and we will start insulting. And that is where lawyer will come in if there are laws that can deter us from continuously doing that. Because now things are evolving. The things that you can do and go scot-free with the same advancement of technology is difficult to do so. You agree with me previously, you can attend an event and just pick someone's bag and go. Now you can pick the bag, but because of technology, there may be a CCTV camera. And there are even image enhancers. And there are also AI tools that we can compare your face with other database, and it can let us know that this person is highly a possibility that is part of these 10 people that we have shortlisted. So please, this AI is there, but it will not kill us. And now let me jump to our sister who also asked whether it's going to take care of the workforce. Please, AI is not taking care of our jobs and will not take over our jobs. You know why? To be able to efficiently use AI, you need to learn. If you stay here and it's just about 10 minutes to submit your assignments and you just write, what are the causes of road accidents in Ghana? Yes, AI will give you the answer. But the person who took time to write, compare his or her notes, to write the causes of accidents in Ghana and only ask AI that polish my language for me and give me a typical example of point number 1. That person's assignment will be natural than yours. So it is imperative for you to be able to know what you are doing. Then AI, whether it's coming or not coming, there is a saying that oh yeah, and you do understand it very well. And it is coming. That it happens that they say there is a white man visiting you. You just say they are coming to look at the things. But many times we know the things that we need to do, but we don't do them. So when you are not doing the right thing, people come over and surely you'll be criticized, no matter who the person is. AI is coming to support us to do our work very well. I'm a PR professional. Somebody can just go in and type that, help me with a communication plan. Of course, it will give you a generic communication plan. But if, as a PR professional, I know the terms, I understand campaigns, so help me with a communication plan, or you load your communication plan. You have already generated, taking your time to go through, worked on your communication plan, and you said, this is my communication plan. Help me group it into first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. That product that you get from AI will be more valuable than you just telling AI, help me with a communication plan, and it has never come to your institution to know some of the specific things that you are doing. So we only need to make sure that we do our best to know the fundamentals of whatever work we are doing. And it's coming to support us. Even when robots comes, and robots are doing some of the jobs, who opens the door for the robots? It's still a human being to do the job. There was a question by Doc. Prof, you talk about the fourth revolution is passing. And you spoke about even agriculture. Now, there are lots of advancements, of course, because I even know that my center, Kofi Annan ICT Center, have developed an AI that can detect the quality of a cocoa that has been produced in Ghana. But you agree with me, previously you just go and get the cocoa, and with a few experience and other things, like maybe you see a black spot, you see this and that, and we can guess this is healthy, this is not healthy. Now AI is smoothing the process to make it simple for you to know. And yes, today an innovation comes, and tomorrow another one comes. It's like we are in a hurry. We do not even allow the first one to settle, and a new one comes. What happens is that we as individuals in the fourth revolution need to do our best to make sure we put ourselves into the new reforms that are coming. There are some of us that, let me use lawyer for an example. There are some people who never got opportunity to go to the law school. There are some people who also went and never completed. And some people who have ever thought of it but believe that it's impossible. But when they have something to do about law, what do? They have to go to the lawyer, right? So I will say that as many as we cannot take opportunity to learn new innovations coming, what we have to do is that we have to try and outsource the jobs that technology will help us do to the experts so that they can help us do the job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll address the issue of deep fakes and auto voice. You know, let me say something. If you get something on the net and you post it maybe in your WhatsApp groups, and somebody comes to say, please check this, it may not be genuine, please stop being defensive. Sometimes we act as if we own the stuff that we are forwarded. And often we are the ones who are propagating the falsehoods and the deep fakes. You might have missed it, but someone else says, wait a second. If you hear, and let me be honest, if you read, or if you, especially YouTube, many of us behave as if YouTube is the be-all and end-all of information. And I can understand, for us, the older people, when we were growing up, we didn't have CNN and everything. We had TV. We had TV. It came on at 5:45 and ended after the 10 p.m. news. And it was black and white. And everything on it was true. And for people my age and above, once it's TV and it moves and it speaks, it must be true. The fact that it can be contrived, it might be a 12-year-old sitting in his room, putting the images together, sometimes beats our minds a little bit. The deep fakes are getting better and better. One is auto voice. Let me give a more recent example. So and we've been bouncing around ourselves. YouTube, Mali has paid all of its debts. What a great thing that is happening. Please, if it is too, let me tell you a rule on social media. If it is too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Don't forget this. If it is too good to be true, It is too good to be true. Can you just Google Mali foreign debt? And then you find that in October, the finance minister announced that they are going to pay down 300 million of the domestic debt. So that's what they have paid. But the voice you receive says they've paid all their debt. All I'm asking all of us to do to be, can we have a little more cynicism, a little more doubting spirit, that all of these things can be conjured? A good friend of mine sent me 3 songs, AI-generated songs, and they sound so great. All he had to do was to type the words and enter it, and AI sang it, played the instruments, there was a guitar solo. You decide whether you want a ballad or a fast-paced song, and suddenly you have a song. And I don't know if you've seen the images. People are writing songs for their wives and girlfriends. So they are sitting in a car and they'll play it, and when I first met you, and then mention your name, Osisiadan-Bekoe, and can we all be just a little bit more cynic? Have a little bit more cynicism so they ask questions, okay? And so very soon, those of us who play music might even be redundant, because now they don't need to hire you again. And if you want your voice, you can actually take your phone and recite some words, and it will take your voice, spin it around, and suddenly it's your voice speaking. You don't need a guitarist, you don't need a drummer, you don't need a keyboardist, you don't even have to know music. It will sing for you. Now, but when it infringes on the rights of people, if you see an image of me today saying from here, you heard me, but saying things that I didn't say, just pause a little bit, especially in the political domain. Check around a little bit. But if your rights are violated that way, a lot of what I read gives you recourse if you can track it. And if it happens to you, please make the report to the Cyber Security Authority. Okay? But the lady who asked the question that we all clapped for, the lady is bright. I mean, for a young person to ask that question. Let me go back to Article 18.2. And let me read it slowly, because I think that's where the answer is. No person shall be subjected to interference with the privacy of, let's say, his correspondence or communication. Now, this is the key thing. Except, and that's your answer, except in accordance with law, as may be necessary in a free and democratic society for public safety, the economic well-being of the country, for the protection of health or morals, for the prevention of disorder or crime. And so if the best thing to do, maybe under an attack, is to set your phone to record. If it comes to evidence, this is one instance where the court will say, well, recording it is probably a breach of privacy. But for the purposes of this matter, we think that the recording was for the prevention of a crime or protection of rights and freedoms of others. So, and as I went through the statutes, you see that there are a lot of exceptions to all of these. And I cited the case where the court said there's a 3-line test: legality, legitimacy, and proportionality. And so there are several instances where these would apply. The 2 cases that I mentioned, in one of them, she was an employee of ADB, and she called a journalist and told the journalist things about the bank. Somehow, the bank got the information. Clearly, the journalist also, and then the bank decided that she had breached her oath of secrecy, and so we're firing her. And the court said, no, we are not going to allow you to do this. You know, yes, there's an oath. She probably breached the oath of secrecy, but the recording probably needed legal backing for that to happen. So it is not cut and dried. And I cannot see any court in this land saying that a person is under attack, manages to switch on the TVs, records the face of the people, and the court will say that we won't accept it. So it is not cut and dried. It's very good you asked that question so I can clarify that the rule about not having secret recordings has exceptions. And these are some of the exceptions that I've pointed out. Thank you very much for that question. It's very intelligent. Oh yes, it's okay to clap for that young lady. We should encourage people like that. You know. Yes, the messages from the political parties. You see, basically, we are not applying the law. That's what part of the reason why we are here, the gaps. Right? And it's worse. They will send a message that you live in Tema West. I am visiting Tema West this weekend. They don't only have your number, they know where you live. This is a clear breach of the law. You are supposed to consent to it. So the next time you get it from, and it's the two leading candidates, right? The non-leading candidates, they don't have money for this thing. So it's the two leading candidates. You may decide to test them, write to them. Please, can you tell me where you got my number from? They won't respond. But if you want to pursue it, send it to the Cyber Security Authority or the Data Protection Commission. You see, I can imagine say, oh, nothing will happen. It takes one person deciding for something to happen for the thing to happen. And so if you really feel offended by it, test it. You just might be the person to correct it. The fourth industrial revolution, Prof, is not actually an event, it's an aspiration. The first was an event, and I was laughing when you were saying it because, yeah, we are still doing hoe and cutlass farming. That is pre-first industrial revolution. That's like Stone Age. Okay. There's the issue about leadership, and the issue is also about our own willingness to adopt and adapt. When my first job was to help in the law database project. And I remember a lawyer looking at me in the face and saying, what are you people doing? What does law have to do with computers? The law is in the books. What does it have to do with computers? Now, that gentleman is much older than me. He's still a lawyer. But to be honest, I can tell that he's still struggling with the issue. Because the thing about the law reports, for example, is that if I'm looking for a principle on consideration and contract, I can't read all the law reports from 1959 to 2024. That's 3 months of research. The best is to go to the index at the end of the law reports to see whether, and you see the index depends on the discretion of the law reporter. The law reporter might not think that it is relevant to go into the index. But there's software that indexes every word. And so literally I sit behind my desk and I type contract and consideration. And when I click or press enter, every time the two words are used within 10 words of each other, pops up on my screen. So you might take 3 months to do the research. It has taken me 10 seconds. And all I do is to pick, this one is not relevant. This one is relevant. This one is relevant. This one is not. In 15 minutes, I know the cases to go and read. I may still go and grab the hard copy. I may take it from there. I might just cut and paste it in my work and move on. So there's leadership required. But there's also the personal desire. Maybe it's because I am lazy. I don't want to read 300 pages. I read that when I was in school. At this age, 300 pages. If the computer will tell me where to read, why do I want to do it ourselves? So we ourselves must be willing to use the tools. For example, now, the hard copy library in my office is the least visited place. Because these millennials and Gen Z people, they don't like hard copy library. So we are having to buy e-books and put it on their laptops, have the whole thing. But I also have books in the library that are bought with money that somebody must read. It's against the law to convert it into software without the permission of the writers. So what did I do? I found people. We scanned the tables of context, of content and indexes of all books. And we have created a database of it. So if I'm searching for consideration and contract, not only will it tell me the cases that I've mentioned them, but it will tell me that if I go to the library on row this, shelf that, there's a book with this title where the two words are at least used together in the table of contents. Now, it does not cost a whole lot to do that. It costs what I call my perennial laziness, where I don't want to do the hard work. I say, whatever the computer can do for me, I won't do myself. If we begin to appreciate our computers as not just being typewriters on steroids. Can you imagine? Look, growing up now, literally, your phone, every information on earth is on your phone. The issue is how we leverage these things in our various professions. If we don't learn to leverage and use these, and we remain eternally suspicious of them, then the 4th will pass us by, and I can assure you, even the 10th will pass us by. So there's a leadership issue, and there's all of us. In your profession, ask yourself these questions tonight. What can I do to make it simpler? I have a simple principle in my profession. When I hire young lawyers, they are not there writing exams. The days of examinations are past. If there's an assignment, I won't only give you the assignment, I will give you the work I have done previously. And it's very simple. Please, take this. If anything has changed, add it. If nothing has changed, use this and bring it back to me. Because I don't have time for the person to go and spend 2 weeks in the library reading things that I've read before. We are not writing exams. At this time, we are looking for money. There's a difference. And if they do the work quicker, the work will go out quicker and more work will come. So it's a mind revolution. We ourselves must decide that this is something we need to do. And I tell people, I am not smart. The issue is that I have the tools. That when I pick my laptop or my phone, every Ghanaian decision is on the laptop. All England law reports is on my laptop. I can research all of them in a few minutes. So it is unto us, our willingness, preparedness to use these tools and to say, how do we reimagine our profession and the work that we do? And if we do that, we will make the 4th. There are industries in Ghana that are 4th Industrial Revolution compliant. And there are some which are not. Remember that the ink pen and typewriter were discoveries years ago. Today, frankly, I've been using it to write, but I don't even sign anymore. It's an electronic signature. The law actually allows me to do electronic signatures. So I used to like some pens. They're just sitting on my desk. The pen is almost redundant. As for the typewriter, I don't remember where it is. I think we have one in our storeroom for showing to when you make a mistake. When I went to first year, they used to give us reading lists. And Prof, you'll be surprised. I still have my first year reading list. I'm that crazy. I keep I bound them. They're a very good resource. Then they have something called the stencil. So they'll type on some material, then they'll roll it, and they come see they're rolling and the address, there's black on the address and everything. Now you have a laser printer. I asked the kids, do you know what a dot matrix printer is? The people in my office don't know what a dot matrix printer is. Everything is laser right now. So we ourselves must be prepared to jump into the revolution. And I don't, if I sound like I'm preaching. Let me move on. And so, where to learn ICT? You ask the question. You know, you can go to any school to learn ICT. But can I tell you what? You probably don't even need to go. The telephone you have, right? Almost everything learning on this earth is on your phone. There's a lot of self-tuition that you can give to yourself. I have a nephew, I play a bit of piano, and he's learning piano, and he was learning piano. I was teaching him after a while. After about 2 years, I hadn't seen him. When I met him, he was about 200 years ahead of me. I said, Padro, where do you learn all of these things? He says, Uncle, I do a lot on YouTube. Every chord progression is on YouTube. Skill works, riffs, runs is there. They teach you slowly. This is how you go by it. You can teach yourself so much. Stop using your phones for just sending jokes and nonsense and stupid pictures. I'm talking to young people here. Use it to learn stuff. Your course. Anyway, I'm digressing. Will we still have jobs because of AI? Majority of us will still have jobs. Some will not. And do you know who decides whether you have a job or not? You. You must make yourself relevant by improving your stock of knowledge. And when I speak to young lawyers, that's what I tell them. You must make yourself relevant. If you have a job and you're happy with the fact that you don't have to work too hard, one day they'll declare you redundant because you're actually redundant. But how do you reimagine yourself and how do you develop yourself? Both in my profession and in yours. If you still say, oh, as for me, I suspect these things, then you're going to remain there. And one day, you will find out, and these are my favorite words, you are fossilized, calcified, ossified, and irrelevant. Fossilized, ossified, calcified, and ultimately irrelevant. It depends on you, and I'm speaking to the young people here. I think I've spoken enough. Thank you.
My dear sister asks whether GI-KACE, at what age or level can you come in? At my place, GI-KACE, when you want to learn ICT, you only need to be 6 years and above. We teach children 6 years, 7 years to develop solutions. We have some of these cases coming in for just 2 weeks, the long vacation, and they are able to develop e-dustbin. Immediately you get closer to the dustbin and it opens. We do robotics there. We teach people how to manage existing innovations. Like currently there is a course ongoing. The entire project is e-skills for job, where there are a lot of initiatives under this, and it's free. There is AI for office productivity. They are teaching data skills. And for us at GI-KACE, you don't have to have your degree before you come. When it's long vac, you can come. When you have access to Facebook and Instagram, you can just follow us, GI-KACE. When you follow us and you see our free programs and it's vacation, you can come. Some of them too, we discount them within the period for young students to also take advantage. We currently have a lot of medical doctors who are taking advantage of our free data analytics program to study. You know what? They said that they are taking the course because as medical professionals, they need individuals often to go down there to do the research for them. And they come to realize that when they bring the data, some of the people, is because of the money. That's why they accepted to go down there to do the research. So to sample the data, get them the right data, they get to see that the information they are compiling is wrong. So when they heard of data analytics and it's free, they decided to enroll. We have mothers who come there and they still have their child. We don't have a nursery, but we have interns and service personnel who take advantage, take care of the baby for these young people to learn. So if you want to learn, we are ready to accept you, give you the opportunity for you to also gain knowledge in technology. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm taking yesterday's presentation today and summarize. The team is leveraging the fourth industrial revolution. I want to look at 3 things. 1, what are the drivers of leveraging the fourth industrial revolution? So if you are looking at the drivers, the legal, the policy, the institutional, framework, leadership, political commitment, and then, of course, citizenship education. These are what I have gathered. 2, what are the opportunities? There are several opportunities. Yesterday, we learned about the issues about agriculture. We learned about issues relating to how to produce more food, manufacturing, industrialization, etc., etc. So we need these. These are very important. And the final thing, is that whether we like it or not, there are risks. What are the risks? So data manipulation, privacy issues, and all that. So we need, as a country, we need to design policies and programs. We need to get prepared so that we are not overtaken by events. On that note, I would like us to thank the two speakers again for enlightening us on a very important topic. So let's clap for them again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll come to some announcements. We would like to thank Bank of Ghana and Tropical Cables and Conductors Limited for sponsorship. We acknowledge the presence of the following schools: Accra Academy. They are here. Let's see, a wave. Yes, okay, good. And then we have Lab Senior High School. Oh, you are here. Okay. And then we also have Accra Girls Senior High School. Where are they? Where are they? Accra Girls? Okay. Okay, good. We continue the celebrations, climaxing it tomorrow for the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Lecture in this auditorium, and that will be delivered by Emeritus Professor Cliff Tego and be chaired by Professor Kofi Nti, the president. You're all invited to attend. There will be light refreshment, and you can collect your bagged refreshment as you walk out of the auditorium. There's no other announcement. I wish you all a pleasant evening, and thanks for coming. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, I'm Peggy Amasapi, student of Data Analytics Power BI. I got to know about it, that is the e-skills for job. I got to know about it on social media. So I'm a new mom. When I heard of it, I really wanted to take part, but unfortunately, because of my baby, I was contemplating how to go about it. But God being so good, and I had help Actually, I've had help with my son. As you can see, I don't have him here with me. He's been taken care of by some of the staff. So I really thank God, and I would want to encourage all mothers. That is, if you are a mother and you have the passion for any of these IT courses, just take up the mantle and come. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Another thing, I don't have a laptop of my own, but then when I came, I got to have one with the practical aspect of it. So yeah, I thank God, and I thank the sponsors of eSkills for Job. They're really doing a good job with the staff as well. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Edmond Okra. I'm a participant part of this great program that's data analysis with Power BI. So, from my background, being a medical doctor, we actually use data a lot in the hospital. And as to the data, we just pack them. We actually don't really analyze it. We actually take the raw data and put it. Being part of this course will actually help me analyze all the data that we get from the hospital and make decisions, informed decisions. Now the world is being ruled by data. So if actually you don't know how to analyze your data and make informed decisions with your analysis, I don't think we are heading towards a good place. So with this course, it will actually help us. We that we are in the healthcare profession to actually help us to analyze our data, make informed decisions, and also inform policymakers on this analysis that we have made with our data to make also their decisions based on whatever that we have gotten. So yeah, that's actually a great. It's actually a great program, and I hope that we continue with this program and also make it available to all the populace in the country.
My name is Hudaya Haya, a beneficiary of the Cyber Ops class. As an unemployed woman, I heard about the eSkills for Job opportunity and decided to enroll. And so far, I can say it's been a great experience. I believe in the coming years, ICT is going to take over every aspect we can think of. And getting this opportunity strongly, I know I will get a job after this, and I will definitely come here to share my success story. I'd like to say a very big thank you to the World Bank, GI-KACE, and the Ministry of Communication for providing this great opportunity as a way to curb the unemployment rate in this country.